Hi readers, Lee here. Welcome back to my channel, Lila Wanders and Reads, and welcome to Book Talk Tuesday. It's been a minute because I've been all over the place lately, but this book talk is one that I have been preparing for a while, and I wasn't sure when I was going to actually do it. I've had this stack of books stacked up for, weeks and weeks, ready to talk about them. But today, let me go back a little bit. So after the election, I got off Twitter. I still have my account up because I don't want anybody taking that. But I just don't. I've moved it to the depths of my phone. I don't look at it. It was better for my mental and emotional health to get away from it. So, every now and then, though, when I'm eating at the computer, I will go on Twitter just to have something to read while I'm eating. And today, I found the perfect tweet and the perfect awful response and bad take. So, You Doing Too Much on Twitter tweeted, "I really will die on the hill that children should be learning and reading Shakespeare in school, so that might be my most pretentious take, maybe, LMAOOO. And then Petty Okino said, "I'm a former English major." I don't know what that even is. "And I strongly disagree. Shakespeare is inaccessible and alienating to the vast majority of children and, frankly, to many adults. Lit teachers have a romantic attachment to it that's deeply detrimental to the learning of contemporary students." And then, of course, people told him he was wrong, and he tried to, pretend like he used big words and pretend like he knows a lot. Well, former English major. Anywho, he's wrong. But when I saw that tweet in response, I was like, it's time. It is time. Because the truth is that Shakespeare is only inaccessible if you don't understand his language and if you don't have a good teacher. But there are numerous tools out there. You don't even need a good teacher. You can go to SparkNotes. You can go... The web is free, folks. Okay, it's not free. You have to pay for internet, but... You have to pay for access. But you can go to the library and get access. And there are many tools out there that make Shakespeare accessible to the reader. And Shakespeare's tales are timeless. And what I'm going to do today is a book talk about many books that are either retellings of Shakespeare tales or derivative of Shakespeare or a nod to Shakespeare or in some way Shakespeare related. My first one is what I'm currently reading, and that's If I'm Being Honest. I'm going to quick through this one because I have deep dives on the rest of them, but this is sort of a retelling or a reimagining of The Taming of the Shrew. Mixed feelings about The Taming of the Shrew, but it's been a minute since I've been in college. We did talk about that one, but I'll let you know what I think about this. I've read the back of it on my Weekend Books, which posted yesterday. But so far, it's really quick read. I really do like it. But let's move on, shall we? So, let's start with Margaret Atwood and Hag-Seed. This is a retelling of William Shakespeare's The Tempest Retold. And most of these books that I'm going to talk about are from the same imprint, that is Hogarth Shakespeare imprint. So this one is, again, this is a retelling of Shakespeare's The Tempest. Felix is at the top of his game as an artistic director of the Macbeth Theatre Festival. Now he's staging a Tempest like no other. Not only will it boost his reputation, but it will also heal emotional wounds. Or that was the plan. Instead, after an act of unforeseen treachery, Felix is living in exile in a backwoods hovel, haunted by memories of his beloved lost daughter Miranda, and also brewing revenge, which, after 12 years, arrives in the shape of a theater course at a nearby prison. Margaret Atwood's novel take on Shakespeare's play of enchantment, retribution, and second chances leads us on an interactive, illusion-ridden journey filled with new surprises and wonders of its own. I have no idea when I'm going to get to most of these because I'm already reading one from this pile. I never read The Tempest when I did take Shakespeare. My book is down here, but it's under some other stuff. My big Shakespeare Willie book that I've carried around the world. I don't recall reading The Tempest. So what I would do before I did a read of Hag-Seed is I would go and not read The Tempest, but I would look for major themes to look forward for and kind of a summary. Again, you can find that online. Shakespeare is accessible and important. The themes that is in Shakespeare's plays, again, are timeless. And this is probably not the only retelling of The Tempest, even if the author doesn't know they're doing a retelling of it. Anywho, next up, New Boy by Tracy Chevalier. I do not know if I pronounced that correctly. This is a retelling of Othello, which I have read, but it's been a hot minute. Sorry, got an itch. Tracy Chevalier, I don't know who that is, brings Shakespeare's Othello, a harrowing drama of jealousy and revenge, to a 1970s era elementary school playground. Ooh, this looks really good. See? Arriving at his fourth school in 6 years, diplomat's son, Osei Kokoti, knows he needs an ally if he's to survive his first day. So he's lucky to hit it off with Dee, the most popular girl in school. But one student can't stand to witness this budding relationship and decides to destroy the friendship between the black boy and the golden girl. By the end of the day, the school and its key players, teachers and pupils alike, will never be the same again. I apologize if there's a glare on my face. It's like getting a little bit dusky, and so I have my other light on, but sometimes I think I'm maybe moving in too close. It looked like it glared really hard. Anywho. Hey, this is from the Raleigh News and Observer. This quote is, Chevalier manages to turn this story into a true tragedy. New Boy will appeal to adult Shakespeare lovers and to young adults who may only know Shakespeare because of a couple of teenage lovers in Verona. This one looks really, really good. When was this published? 2017 copyright. Put that down to read soon. The next one is actually kind of new. This one actually got lost. I had to reorder it. And I need to add it into my app on my phone. So this is Shylock Is My Name, a retelling of The Merchant of Venice by Howard Jacobson. In this incisive interpretation, there it goes again, quit glaring. Incisive interpretation of The Merchant of Venice, Shylock is juxtaposed with his present-day counterpart in the character of art dealer and conflicted father, Simon Strulovich. With characteristic irony, Jacobson presents Shylock as a man of wit and passion, concerned with questions of identity, parenthood, anti-Semitism, and revenge. While Strulovich struggles to reconcile himself to his daughter's betrayal of her family and heritage, Shylock alternates grief for his beloved wife with rage against his own daughter's rejection of her Jewish upbringing. Culminating in a shocking twist on Shylock's demand for the infamous pound of flesh, Jacobson's insightful retelling examines contemporary, acutely relevant questions of Jewish identity while maintaining a poignant sympathy for its characters and a genuine spiritual kinship with its legendary antecedent. So Howard Jacobson is a Booker Prize winner, not for this, but for the Finkler question. I don't know when this was published, but we're going to find out. Let me open this up, take off the paperwork. Well, that cover's really great when you take off the paper. The wrap, whatever it's called. Copyright 2016, so this is after him winning the Man Booker Prize in 2010. Next up is an author I have read before, but I haven't read it in a long time, and that is Joe Nesbo doing a retelling of Macbeth. This is also, although it looks different, the Hogarth Shakespeare imprint, set in the 1970s in a run-down, rainy industrial town. Joe Nesbo's Macbeth centers on a police force struggling to shed an incessant drug problem. Duncan, chief of police, is idealistic and visionary, a dream to the townspeople, but a nightmare for criminals. The drug trade is ruled by two drug lords, one of whom, a master of manipulation named Hag-Seed, has connections with the highest in power and plans to use them to get his way. Hag-Seed's plot hinges on steadily, insidiously manipulating Inspector Macbeth, the head of SWAT and a man already susceptible to violent and paranoid tendencies. Ooh. Ooh. What follows is an unputdownable story of love and guilt, political ambition, and greed for more, exploring the darkest corners of human nature and the aspirations of the criminal mind. This sounds fabulous. Look, someone put their own sticker over the ISBN. Thanks, fucker. I have to check all these and make sure they're downloaded into my app so I don't rebuy them. Okay. Next up is Dunbar. This is a retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear by Edward St. Aubyn. I have not read anything by Edward St. Aubyn before. He wrote the Patrick Melrose novels. And Henry Dunbar, the once all-powerful head of a global media corporation, is not having a good day. In his dotage, he handed over care of the corporation to his two eldest daughters, Abby and Megan, but relations quickly soured, leaving him to doubt the wisdom of past decisions. Now, imprisoned in a care home in rural England, with only a demented alcoholic comedian as company, Dunbar starts planning his escape. As he flees into the hills, his family is hot on his heels. But who will find him first? His beloved youngest daughter, Florence, or the tigresses Abby and Megan, so keen to divest him of his estate? This looks awesome. I think I either bought or added to my wish list yet another book recently, which is also a retelling of King Lear. It's not in this stack. I might not have bought it. I've been out of control on the book buying. I did I'm going to have a book haul tomorrow, just so you know. I don't know what happened in November, but since deciding that I'm not going to smoke anymore, I have not saved any money. I have instead spent money as a way to distract myself from cravings and urges. And so I'm not sure what happened this past pay period. I spent a lot of money at Barnes & Noble, and it just, like, I went through the other day and through my checking account and looked at everything, and I'm like, oh, that's not that much. That's not that much. But when you add it up, it's that much. So anyway, I may or may not have bought another retelling of King Lear. If I didn't, it's in my wish list, and I probably will buy it soon. But I really got to cut back, because I got out of control. Now, earlier, we talked about me reading a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew, and Anne Tyler also wrote a retelling of The Taming of the Shrew in Vinegar Girl. This is not the Hogarth imprint. I believe I may have, I think I originally, oh hell, I don't know. One of these, this or Shylock, I had to rebuy or reorder. Kate Batista is stuck. How did she end up running house and home for her eccentric scientist father and infuriating younger sister Bunny? That's the way these two differ. There's no younger sister in this one. like there is in the original Taming of the Shrew. Dr. Batista has other problems. His brilliant young lab assistant, Peter, is about to be deported. And without Peter, his new scientific breakthrough will fall through. When Dr. Batista cooks up an outrageous plan that will enable Peter to stay in the country, he's relying, as usual, on Kate to help him. Will Kate be able to resist the two men's touchingly ludicrous campaign to win her around? Anne Tyler's brilliant retelling of the Taming of the Shrew asks whether a woman like Kate would ever sacrifice herself for a man. The answer is as surprising as Kate herself. I have not read any of Anne Tyler's work, although I have like 2 or 3 books by her. So at some point in 2025, I hope to rectify this, if not with this book, then with one of the other 2 that I have by her. All right. Next up is the last of the Shakespeare retellings. This is The Gap of Time by Jeanette Winterson. This is a retelling of, they call it a cover version of The Winter's Tale. The Winter's Tale is one of Shakespeare's plays I've not read. I've read The Taming of the Shrew, I've read Macbeth. I don't know if I've even read King Lear. I'd have to go back and look. It's been a hot minute. In the southern city of New Bohemia, recently ravaged by storms, a man finds a baby abandoned in the night. He gathers her up, light as a star, and decides to take her home. In a London still reeling from the financial crash, Leo Kaiser finds himself in an impossible situation. He knows how to make money, but he doesn't know how to manage the jealousy he feels towards his best friend and his wife. Is this newborn baby even his? 17 years later, back in New Bohemia, a boy and a girl are falling in love, but there's a lot they don't know about who they are and where they come from. This is another one. When I read this, I'm going to have to go online and look up A Winter's Tale and get a summary of it, and maybe even reread that, because this sounds really good. This sounds really, really good. And of course, I'd want to read the original. Now, the final 2 books that I want to talk about aren't retellings of Shakespeare's plays. One-ish. One is a reimagining of If Shakespeare Was a Woman. The other is kind of a retelling, but it is, you'll see when I get there. I bought this a long time ago. Let me just wait till I get there. So, penultimate book is Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. I believe this is actually, I think they referred to it as an essay, but there's chapters in here, so it's not an essay in my book. In A Room of One's Own, Virginia Woolf imagines that Shakespeare had a sister equal to Shakespeare in talent and equal in genius, but whose legacy is radically different. This imaginary woman never writes a word and dies by her own hand, her genius unexpressed. If only she had found the means to create, argues Woolf, she would have reached the same heights as her immortal sibling. In this classic essay, Woolf takes on the establishment, using her gift of language to dissect the world around her and give voice to those who are without. Her message is simple. Women must have a steady income and a room of their own in order to have the freedom to create. I've not read any Virginia Woolf. Have you? She died in 1941, born in 1882, and I don't know a whole lot about her, but I feel like I should know more than I do. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. If you've got something to say about Virginia Woolf, I'd love to hear it. I'm all about engagement, constructive engagement, and learning. Finally, this last book I ordered it from Blackwell's because I wanted this particular cover, and I did not like the US cover as much. I have been waiting for it and waiting for it, just like another book that's not Shakespeare related. It finally came out, I finally got it, and it went into the pile of possibilities that is endless here. That book is, though I am going to try to get this up for 2025, this is Ava Reid's Lady Macbeth. Death touched, poison dyed, witch kissed. Have I even read any Ava Reid? I don't know. I've got plenty of her books. And this is going to be difficult for me because this is black. A black dust cover and some kind of like teal writing. Very difficult to see, so bear with me. From the Sunday Times best-selling author of A Study in Drowning comes a reimagining of Lady Macbeth, Shakespeare's most famous villainess, giving her a voice, a past, and a power that transforms the story men have written for her. The lady knows the stories, that her eyes induce madness in men. The lady knows she will be wed to the Scottish to the Scottish brute who does not leave his warrior ways behind when he comes to the marriage bed. Dun dun dun. The lady knows his hostile, suspicious court will be a game of survival, requiring all of her wiles and hidden witchcraft to survive. But the lady does not know her husband has occult secrets of his own. She does not know that prophecy girds him like armor. She does not know that her magic is greater and more dangerous, and that it will threaten the order of the world. She does not know this yet, but she will. So this one I actually almost want to read or watch Macbeth again, but I think I may see if I can find it on audiobook so that I can listen to it. Performed would be best, but listen to it, or maybe listen to a podcast explaining it. Because first of all, I did not pause long enough to let you look at this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Again, I got this from Blackwell's. I love the artwork on this. Does it say who did it? Jacket design and illustration by Tim Byrne. I'll have to find out who that is because I really love this. Anywho, that is my book talk on my pile of Shakespeare retellings. I am a huge Shakespeare fan. I think that although we do not know it, we read retellings of Shakespeare all the time because in the end, there are only so many stories. And we're all just telling the same story over and over. That's it for me. Thank you for sticking with me on this journey. Happy reading.